And we are now joined by Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy, retired lieutenant commander in the U.S. Navy, and author of A Battle for the Soul of Islam. And Carl Higbie, retired U.S. Navy SEAL and author of Enemies, Foreign and Domestic, A SEAL's Story. Gentlemen, welcome to both of you. You're welcome. Let me start with this. The Paris suspect who was arrested last week, Salah Abdeslam, he now wants to go to France. He's stopped fighting extradition, and he wants to tell his story. He wants to go to court or whatever and tell his story. Doctor, what's your take on this change of heart? And would it be wise to ever put this man in a courtroom to let him speak for the publicity it would garner him and ISIS and everybody else?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, these guys want the platform. They believe they are not in the land of Islam, but the land of war, so anything goes. And very little of what he says will be true. And, we really should do what is in the best interest of their security in France and in Belgium in order to extract the information necessary. So what that needs, I heard he started to say he wanted to do that when he stopped providing Belgium information. So he said, get me out of here, I want to go to France. So odds are they were getting close to getting the information they needed. So now he wanted to just put on a show. These are enemy combatants, and that's how they should be treated.
Right. Carl, I know you would agree with that. And I think I saw you last night, and you were talking about waterboarding, and everybody on the panel, including the host, was outraged when you said waterboarding's not so bad. We go through it in training, meaning the SEALs. And would you advise the people who have custody of this man to waterboard him at the very least and do whatever they need to do, and I don't know if the doctor was alluding to that, but to get whatever information they can?
What I would do is I would waterboard this guy until he tells us everything he knows, and then when he's done telling us everything he knows, I'd waterboard him some more until the hose ran out of water, and then I'd find another hose, and then I'd give him the death sentence. This is something that needs to be dealt with more severely, and right now, giving him a soapbox and letting him represent himself, fine, whatever, it's in a closed courtroom, but we need to make sure that this guy meets justice.
Doctor, in watching, I just want to talk about the kind of bombs. The Palestinians have been using this for decades, laced with ball bearings and shrapnel and all that. And when you hear, there was one tape CNN played over and over of a man searching for his son who worked in that airport, but you hear the moaning and the groaning, people with legs blown off, one torso without a head, they said, still quivering, still quivering. You're almost, if you're caught in that situation and victimized by that kind of a bomb, you're almost better off dead than the horrific pain and suffering that you go through.
Yeah, there's no doubt. This is why they do these acts, to try to cause the most pain and agony to non-combatants, to those who would otherwise be in restaurants and subways. This is how they tear our societies apart, is by attacking asynchronous warfare. But I would say that I have to disagree with Carl. As much as I agree that he's an enemy combatant and you want to extract information, what makes us different, what makes America the city on the hill, the moral advocate for liberty that we are, is that we don't become our enemies. And we have to be careful not to violate.
All right, Carl, we got 20 seconds in this segment. Respond.
Look, the thing is we having that moral high ground costs American lives. It costs a ton of American lives. So at some point we're going to have to, fight this as a war and not a morally high ground situation. This is not a diplomacy mission. This is a war.
All right, we'll come back. We have plenty more time to get into this in the next segment. Here with Dr. Zuhdi Jasser and Carl Higbie. We are coming back. Don't go away.
We're told that the moderate Muslims, peaceful, peace-loving, living in neighborhoods all over America, don't like the fact that their religion of peace has been hijacked by the jihadis, the ISIS, the Al-Qaedas, the militant jihadists, the San Bernardino II, for example. So why wouldn't they welcome help from law enforcement in keeping their neighborhood safe? Why wouldn't they welcome law enforcement presence to root out the people who are hijacking their religion of peace?
All right, welcome back, folks. Rejoined on the panel by Dr. Zuhdi Jasser and Carl Higbie. Doctor, let me go to you. Rush Limbaugh was weighing in on Ted Cruz's pronouncement that he would like to see cops patrolling Muslim areas, etc., which has been done. It was done in New York City for years successfully until it was stopped by the current mayor. But, I mean, what Rush says seems to make a lot of sense. Why would people be up in arms against police help in rooting out the bad guys within a community?
I think he's right, and this is what I've been saying for years. We had a rally of Muslims in front of One Police Plaza when the New York Times every day was beating them up about a very constitutional program that was only withdrawn because of the spineless nature of Mayor de Blasio and others. And the bottom line is that nobody's giving up our civil rights. We just need to have a close relationship with the police, with Homeland Security. Our mosques are transparent. They should be able to come and go. These are public places. They aren't private. We're not asking for illegal wiretaps or other things. But the bottom line is the people representing our community and bellyaching about these are the Islamists that believe in the not so-called nonviolent, but the precursors of these radicals that don't want America to wise up to the radicalization process in which they put our community under siege, and they want us to feel under siege, so they will exaggerate this and use it in a partisan way to prevent the police from doing their job.
Is this the non-violent jihad where they use our own laws and constitution against us?
Yep, they basically enact blasphemy laws in America by preventing a connection of political Islam to Islamism and radical Islam, prevent Muslims like myself from having a platform in our Muslim reform movement by making the police feel, oh my gosh, we can't even talk about them being Muslim. We have to basically scour the entire city rather than neighborhoods where we know that radicalism is being preached.
And Carl, you know, there are people who say, and I'm of the opinion as well, that Europe may be too far gone. I mean, with the enclaves and the problems and the immigration and no-go zones, especially in Brussels, you know, if we don't do something here, Carl, do you believe we're in danger of going that way?
Well, 100%. And back to Zuhdi's point, that we are, these no-go zones or these Islamic neighborhoods, they're using the criticism that the mainstream media, and quite frankly, deservedly, are giving them. I mean, look, in Brussels, that guy was hidden in almost plain sight, and nobody reported him or anything like that until one person came out. The fact of the matter is we have to get away from the fact that it's Muslims versus everyone else. It's not. There's a very, very, very small amount of Muslims out there that are willing to conduct violence on behalf of their religion. But you know what? There's a very large percentage of Muslims out there that are unwilling to say anything when they see something like that, and that is the problem.
All right, Doctor. I'm sorry to cut you there, Carl. Doctor, we have a minute left. I want to hear from both of you. The optics of Obama going to the baseball game, dancing in Argentina, what message does that send to the terrorists?
Sorry, it sends a message that we're no different than their Arab dictators in the Middle East who dance and drink it up and are hypocrites and don't care about radical Islam, don't care about the threat, and continue to be weak. And the terrorists will continue to strike and see that as appeasement rather than a uniting of the leadership against the threat that we have, and they'll continue to use that as a mechanism to believe they can hit us again.
Carl?
There was an attack in the capital of the EU, and he's out there dancing around. Give me a break. What kind of president does that?
Yeah. All right, folks. Appreciate it, Doctor. Thank you very much. And Carl, thank you too as well. Have a great weekend. And a happy Easter if you're celebrating. And
you too.
Folks, up next, correspondent Nora DeBroder talks to New Yorkers about Barack Obama and the dancing and all that. And we take your calls as well. Don't go away.